Let's talk about where to farm today.
7K Dreamer Plays.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Many new and returning players have joined us, so I thought of this farming locations video would be great to get you going. In this video, I'll be coming up with various farming schedules and templates for you to easily follow, and also talk about what you should do if you're a casual player without much time on hand. I've also created a new farming playlist for anyone who still isn't too clear about farming, and for today's farming video, it will be included in there as well. I will explain the following for each stage so that it is much clearer for you guys. Number 1 is the map recommended for hot time. Hot time basically is a 4-hour period where there is an increased drop rate for a certain resource which you can check from the adventure window. You can decide when hot time should be to make the best use of the 4 hours of non-stop farming. Number 2 is boost mode recommended for this map. Number 3, who is the best farmer and what alternatives are there. Number 4, which formation is preferred. I will also talk about the most basic equipment and recommended skill rotation, but these will differ based on players' progress. And note, all the maps recommended are at easy difficulty and will give you soul shards. Assuming you're still starting out, it is very important for you to hit at least World 820 because 820 has the biggest gold drop when hot time is turned on. So for World 820, some good farmers here are Nia and Palinus because you need to use 2 piercing skills for the 2 waves. With Nia, your fodders won't die and she is the safest farmer in the whole game. I personally tried Yonhee here, but it was very unstable due to the high chance of fodder death. I have put down what I had for my Nia when she tackled this round at the side so you can see how minimal it is. I'm using the 4-1 formation here simply due to laziness and convenience because this is my farming formation for all the other maps. However, if you feel that your Nia lacks power, you can use the 1-4 formation and put her at the back. Boost mode is not my preference in this world due to the huge key cost, but if you are in dire need of gold, you may consider using boost mode here. Another good map to farm in is World 610 with boost mode. Some people choose to farm in 710, which is also fine, but I personally prefer 610 because I do get a stable amount of fodder variety here. Fodder variety is very important in farming because you cannot have the same hero on the team. So if you constantly get the same fodder, that is not going to make your farming efficient at all. For 610 on boost mode, you get a very good amount of soul shards, so you should make this a go-to map every day. I personally save all my boost mode for 610 alone. Also, I run Yuri for this stage due to Yuri's fast animation, which really shortens your farming runs and allow you to make the most of hot time. I've already put the details on my Yuri as well at the side with a skill rotation for you. To prevent Yuri from being frozen, I gave my Yuri a freeze resistant accessory and a PvE debuff resist jewel to increase her freeze resistance and make it high so that my farming can continue properly. You can also use Yonhee for this round, and if Yonhee has an exclusive item, then you don't have to worry about debuffs. You can see what I gave my Yonhee when she did her run and her skill rotation at the side as well. Nia is also a great choice because she protects all your fodder, but she will give you a longer run due to her awakened skill animation. Another thing to note is that you don't need to have hot time on for this floor on the weekdays, but during the weekend, having hot time here will help you greatly in getting lots of fodder to sustain your farming. Note that if you are farming in World 710, you cannot use Yuri. To learn more about the best and most efficient farmers for every map, you can refer to the video I've linked above. So while we are still on hot time, World 13.5 is a possible map to farm at. I know new and returning players may take a while to get there, but the reason why I recommend this map is because it is the easiest map, which can give you soul shards as well as fodder on hot time. Yonhee is the most efficient farmer here, as illustrated by the video I've linked above. Alternative farmers also include Palinus and Nia, since you need 2 piercing skills for this stage as well. Boost mode here will cost a lot, but can give you a good amount of soul shards if you are desperate. Also, if you have maxed out your soul shards, this stage will also drop light crystals. However, I personally feel that hero drop rate here isn't as frequent as the next map I want to talk about, and that is map 4.5. 4.5 is one of my must-go stages daily because I can farm for hours on this map. Even on weekdays when hot time here favors gold, the drop rate for fodder is pretty decent as well and you will be able to sustain your farming. On weekends, this map along with 610 mentioned earlier are the best to spend your whole weekend farming in. So why is 4.5 preferred over 5.5, you may ask? That is because the animation time in 4.5 is slightly shorter than 5.5 by about 2 to 3 seconds. Every second counts when you're farming, so this is something to take note. But you can toggle between 4-5 and 5-5 to generate fodder variety within your inventory to keep your farming going. With Yonti on this stage, you can easily clear it without fodder death because she kills off the first wave simply with basic attacks and enters the second wave using her skill immediately. So let's put it all together and come up with an efficient farming schedule. For weekdays, assuming you have time for the whole duration of hot time, you can start your farming in World 13.5 first to accumulate some fodder for 1 to 1.5 hours before heading over to World 4.5 or 6.10, whichever you prefer. If you head to World 4.5, you can farm there for another 1 to 2 hours before going back to 13.5 or heading to 6.10 for boost runs. If you head to 6.10 first, you can choose to activate boost mode and farm all the way till boost mode stops, and then go to 4.5 or back to 13.5 before hot time ends. This is a very basic guideline. You can even start with World 8.20 and insert 5.5 wherever you wish. The idea is simply to toggle between maps for fodder variety to sustain your farming for hours. After hot time ends, you can activate boost mode and farm all the way in 6.10 till boost mode ends. If you have already used up your boost mode runs during hot time, then just continue your farming in 4.5 outside of hot time. On weekends, farm in 6.10 with boost mode, and once that ends, focus your time in 4.5 or 5.5. This is probably the most cost efficient and fastest way to maximize weekend hot time, which will fill up your inventory with a lot of fodder. Oh yes, after you have finished farming for soul shards to the maximum, you can stop farming in World 6.10 and focus on all the other worlds I've mentioned before, such as 8.20 for gold, 4.5 for fodder, and also 13.5 for light crystals. But all that said, I know many players don't have the luxury of time to leave their phone on for 4 hours or don't have a good PC to run an emulator. So if you really can only afford 1 to 2 hours each day to farm, what should you take note of? Well, there is a rumor that Smart Adventure may be launched in future since Korea server has that, but before that arrives, a few things to take note. Firstly, I'm assuming if you are a casual farmer, keys should not be too big of an issue for you, so you should always use boost mode to maximize your rewards for any stage you are fighting in. Secondly, turn on hot time. I know hot time lasts for 4 hours, but honestly, if you don't have the luxury of time, it doesn't matter if hot time is 4 hours or 8 hours because all you have is 1 to 2 hours. So choose the map with the resource you want to farm in within your limited time and turn on hot time to increase the drop rate for that resource. Lastly, since you have a limited amount of time and desperately want to farm something, make sure you have enough power supply to sustain even for that short duration, otherwise nothing will end up being achieved. So I hope this video has guided you very well as to where to farm and how to farm in those places. If it did, do give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more of such tips and guides. We are gearing up for Mythical Awakening now, so make sure your resource bank is filled with gold by July. I will see you very soon in my next guide. Thank you so much.